So welcome all of you in the class of economy students. So we are continuing with the chapters of statistics. Today we have come up with the chapter of presentation of data. So if you like to know about the presentation of data, we say a picture says 1,000 words, or it is very necessary whatever we have received right till now in the form of say raw data that we have classified into organized data. Now it's the time to represent in some presentable forms, either in the form of text form, table form, or some graph form or diagram form. So as I told you that a picture says 1,000 words, we can say if we present our organized data in the form of some suitable tables or in some suitable say graphs, diagrams, it is rather more appropriate for us to let us know the major content and information from that particular data. Right, since we know that we can present the data in the form of textual presentation also, but moreover when we are presenting the data in the form of words, sentences, paragraphs, it doesn't serve the purpose much. Why so? I can give you a very simple example. Do you like your books of your subjects? Can you study them for 4 to 5 hours regularly? It has become very difficult for you to answer me right now. But if I ask that, will you be able to watch a movie for 3 hours? Would you like to watch a web series of 1 or 2, or maybe there are 10 episodes of 1 hour each? We can watch with very great amount of patience. Right. What we have done is we have just represented the entire data in the form of some picturization or with some diagrammatic or representation of moving graphics forms. Now, coming to the topic, here we have provided you that there are 4 forms by which the data can be represented. When we have just organized the data in the form of relevant series that we have discussed in the last session of the organization of data, that was classification, where we have classified various forms, in various series, namely discrete series, frequency distribution series, continuous series, or we can say open-ended or exclusive series, inclusive series, and so on. Now it's the time to make some more constructive approach for the organized data, and we need to just convert them into some suitable form of representation. So very first representation is basically concerned with converting the organized data into some word form, sentence form, paragraph form, so that the person should be able to understand the summary of the organized data. Now, coming up with the second section, that is tabular representation of data, where the data is being represented in the form of rows and columns, suitable, well labeled, crafted tables, so that whatever the amount of series we have developed, we may be able to represent them in the form of well-developed tables. Right? We can prepare the table, or there are millions and billions of tables that are prepared or that are going to be prepared and that have been prepared in all parts of the world, because tables are basically a very easy presentation form to convert the organized data into this. Okay? We can convert the data in various form that we are going to study today. Here we go. Then we have diagrammatic presentation of data, where the data is being represented in some bar forms. Maybe horizontal bar diagrams, vertical bar diagrams, more than one, or we can say multiple bar diagrams are there, right? They may be in the reverse order also. So there are various options by which we can present the diagrammatic representation by framing bar diagrams, pie diagrams. Pie diagrams is basically circular representation of entire data in the form of percentages. Then we will be coming to the graphical representation of data. Graphical representation of data is a form where the data is being represented in the form of histograms, ogives, polygons, frequency polygons, right? So, where we are going to have these chapters in the upcoming session. Today we are going to have the major content of tabular representation of data. Now, coming to this topic, we are going to see what do you mean by the term table, right? Why we used to prepare this table or tabular representation that we have already told you. We are going to discuss the objectives also. Now, table is basically, students, a formation in the form of rows and columns where the organized data can be suitably placed. Right? Now, take an example of a school or a result where the student is going to get marks of his or her subjects, right? Out of maximum marks, whatever the marks he has derived, they will be represented in the form of tables, and then percentage will be framed out, and then the toppers can be selected, right? So it is very easy form for us to prepare and to just organize the data well in a efficient mode through tables. What are the basic objectives? So first of all, to simplify and minimize the complex and comprehensive data. If I say if there in a school more than 3,000 students are studying, and if we need to compile their data, we just need to make a record that who have been first, who have been second, and the ranks we need to just frame out in respect of all classes. We just need to frame all such complex and comprehensive data in the form of tables. And the electronic tabular representation, if we concern about this, that is known as spreadsheets, or we can say Microsoft Excel. That is the most widely used in all parts of the world, even in India. Second, the facilitated comparison. Comparison is one of the biggest advantages of the tabular representation that we can receive. It means that if the data has been represented in table, we can suitably make the comparison between the two variables or two figures. Better source of analysis and interpretation. When the results have been come out, the teacher can just analyze that who are the students who have just got the merit result, who are the students who have just barely passed, or who are the students who have not cleared the exam suitably. We just need to analyze their performance, and we just need to work upon their efficiency to improvise them for the upcoming session or upcoming examination. So it is basically a better source for analysis and interpretation. Facilitated referencing. See, we told you that if the results have been derived, the results so obtained in the form of tabular representation can be used as a source of referencing for the upcoming session, for upcoming examination, for upcoming study dates of the school. So basically these are the few objectives for which the tabular representation are about to prepare or should be made, so that the concerned analyst or concerned person should be able to analyze what the organized data was all about according to the objective of the study. Now, as we talk about the essentials and features of a table, as I told you, table is basically a presentation in the form of rows and columns, right? In a very simple note. So we can say essentials are, it should be suitably titled. Every table must be suitably titled so that they must express the objective of the study. Fine. Easy and simple to understand. Whatever the data we have inserted, it must be so meaningful so that we must be able to compile them, we must be able to understand them in our own form. There must not be any technical jargon, there must not be any confusion regarding the drafting of table. It should be very attractive so that one person should got to know. For example, if you are producing the results of the students, if you are getting the marks as well as the subjects on the column side and student roll number on the row side, we can easily frame the marks as well as the percentage and total marks. So that you must be able to see that it is very attractive to just write out the reason. If we can make the table in ascending order as well as descending order also. No expertise knowledge. There should not be any expertise knowledge for the table to get understood. Right? A simple common man should also understand. It means your mother should also understand your result. Alright. So, well managed size. It means table should not be very lengthy, should not be very brief. It should be a very proper minimum size so that we must be able to compile them easily and manage them. Special emphasis. Sometimes we just need to give a special emphasis to some particular topic or subject. For example, if we need to just produce the name of the students, if we need to produce the subject names, we just need to emphasize them. And about the subject name, we are not going to give the heading that subjects. We just need to emphasize them. There are many cases, many ways where when the big authorities, or we can say the government, are making their table representation, they need to emphasize basically the main headings, so that we must be able to understand what the table is giving us about. For example, if we talk about the present scenario of coronavirus, we can say if we need to draft the table in respect of the infected persons, we can easily draft the table by giving the emphasis of infected people, cured people, and reported deaths. Fine. So we can say special emphasis must also be given. Facilitate comparison means comparison should be facilitated very easily and very comfortably. Clear and precise, all the data should be very clear and precise, there should not be any technical words or jargon. Rational and scientific, it means I told you that the table should be in ascending order, descending order, according to roll number wise or according to name wise, whatsoever be criteria, that criteria should be very rational and very scientific. Proper sourcing means that from where we have obtained the data should be clearly mentioned at the bottom of the table, right? It means if we are deriving the table from another source, it means the source should be very clear. For example, if we are going to derive the data with respect to population census, we just need to elaborate the census of data of the respective year in the source head, right, at the bottom of the table. Able head notes and footnotes. The table must be accompanied by respective head notes and footnotes. Head notes are basically given at the top of the right hand side of the top of the table, and footnotes are basically given at the bottom right hand side. So we are just after the source. So if we say with respect to head note, if we want to just make it clear that the figures are pertaining to the unit of measurement. For example, if we are measuring the distance, we need to specify the kilometers. If we are measuring the amount in money or rupees, we just need to mention the rupees in crores or rupees in lakhs, or we should need to, if we are making the comparison internationally amount and we just need to compile them in terms of dollars, we just need to write in head notes dollars in millions or billions or trillions. So the head notes are basically the representation of the units of measurement of the figures that have been given over the body of the table. Fine. Now, next we come to the footnote. Footnote are basically those component of the table that is going to represent some term that is not possible to be represented in the body of the table. It means it gives the highlight of the term that may be a technical term, that may be a non-understood term for the person. So we just going to give the meaning of the term over the footnote at the bottom of the table, just after source. Approximation big figure, if there are very big figure, for example, if we are compiling the data of multinational corporations or Indian multinational corporations like Reliance, Vodafone, Idea, Tata, Birla, if we just going to compile their data, what we need to do? We just need to approximate or shorten the data in a very brief figure, right? So that we must be able to get the brief data and the tabular, the representation should be of appropriate size. It should not be stretched to very lengthy or unequal size of rows and columns, so that the table should become very filthy, or we can say in a very non-attractive manner. So, these are basically essential features of a good table. Now we are going to see the components of a table. Components of a table, or we can say parts of a table. So starting with the top level of the table here. Here we need to have three things. One is table number, second is title, third is head. So if we talk about, we have a small constructed table. It tells about that if we are talking about the component, first of all we just need to start with the table number. If there are more than one table, we should type 1, 2, 3. If there are multiple tables, we should give the table number respectively, so that we must not get confused when we are mentioning the table number in our paragraph, sentences, or compilation of data. The table must be supported by well-crafted, well-suitable title. Title should be brief, concise, and precise. And it should indicate the entire objective of the study. It should indicate what the purpose of the table was to do. Then, as I told you, the head note represent the units of measurement that for the figures that are going to be represented in the body of the table. Now, fourth content is caption. Caption are basically the columns, headings. Whatever be the column heading. For example, I told you if we are going to write the subject English, Hindi, Maths, Social Science, all these subject names will be termed as captions. Okay, C for caption, C for columns. Better way to remember. Then rows heading will be termed as stubs. It means whenever we are dealing with the row heading, we are going to deal with the stubs. In simple. So captions, as we said, are the basically column heading. And stubs are basically the row headings. If you would have written the names of the students, or if you would have written the roll number of the students, such names of the students or roll number of the student would have been the stubs, or we can say row heading respectively. The main area of the table is known as body of the table, where ultimately the data in numerical form is to be filled. So basically these are basically the cells of the table, or we can say body of the table. In the entire cells, we are just going to produce the figures or numbers. Now we are coming to two additional sources. One is source. It means from where we have derived the data, it becomes the source. Footnote. It means it is going to explain the term that is not, or that cannot be explained in any part of the table. So we need to explain them on footnote. So these are basically the components of the table. We are having 8 components of the table. Again, starting with the first, table number, title, head note, captions, stubs, body of the table, sources, footnote. Right? It means just take your example. If I say table number, title, footnote, head note, fine, caption, stubs, rows heading, body of the table, fine, sources and footnote. Okay, so we can say these are basically the components of a table. Now, from this we are coming to the forms of table. There are several forms of table. We can segregate these forms of table on the basis of purpose, originality and according to variables. If we are coming to the purpose, we can say table can be of two forms, that is general purpose and specific purpose. General purpose table serve as a database table or data bank table, where the data is to be put in a very large form and they are going to serve for any purpose. It means they are general purpose tables. With respect to specific purpose table, as we are going to compile the data with respect to some result to be given to the student, whatever the purpose for which the table is being created will be termed as specific purpose table. Okay. So, forms of table can be derived on the basis of purpose. Now, as per originality, we have two forms: first hand, second hand table. First hand table, we can say it is the original table where the data collected is directly put into the same manner in which we have collected and organized. Where we can say derived table. In derived table, we can say it has been derived from some other table or from some other data and expressed in the form of percentage, ratio or in some other suitable forms, right? So basically original data, again I say it's a data where the collected organized data is directly put into the same manner. Whereas derived data or second-hand table is basically the table in which the data is derived from the original data and put into the form of ratio or percentages. Now, according to variables, we have several forms with respect to variables. We can have one variable table, two variable table, three variable tables. For example, if we talk about the one variable tables, we can say student name and percentage. Right? It means it is one variable table. Or we can again say student name and result, pass, fail, pass, fail, pass, fail. Basically one attribute, right? That is result, according to which the table is being created. So we can say it will be treated as one variable table. I give you an example. If we talk about one variable table, in simple, we can say here we can put the student name and here we can say the result. Or if we want to put the roll number, we can put the roll number, say 101, 102, 103, 104, say of 11th. And if it is passed, it is failed, it is passed, it is failed, sorry, it is passed. So this is what we can say as it's a one variable table because there is only one variable that is being represented in the table. Fine. With respect to two variables, we can have more than one variable. Say for example, if we want percentage also, and then if we need to establish the result, it will be two variable where percentage will be mentioned first of all and then result will be mentioned suitably. That will be called as two variable table. It means as there are the number of variables, such amount of table can be created with such amount of variables. There can be one variable, there can be two variables, there can be three variables, or there can be multiple variable tables. We can draft according to our own ease. There is no compulsory or a permanent criteria to create a table. Right? You just need to create a table according to your own approach, but just take care that it should be in a very precise mode, in a systematic and scientific form. And all the data must be clearly mentioned and represented in your table. Right? So we can say it is a univariate, bivariate or multivariate table. Variate means variable, that we have already seen in the classification of data also. Okay? So this is basically tabular representation of data, students. Now, what we are going to have in another section, in upcoming session, we are going to have diagrammatic and graphical representation of data. Fine. So till then, students, thank you so much for viewing our lectures.